check, good. So I'm Max Duran, CWB Association Welding podcast. Today we have a really cool guest, Welding podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of the CWB Association podcast in collaboration with Skills Canada's Competencies here in beautiful Quebec City. This week we have been interviewing competitors, Team Canada, board members, foundation members, students. We have been all over the place and we've been having a wonderful time. Like I've been saying all week, if you haven't been to a skills competition, especially a national, you got to check it out. And next year's is going to be just so awesome. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But right now, we got Phil here, Phil Polsom, who is our chair of Skills Canada, Saskatchewan, my home province. Phil, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Yeah, how's this week been for you?
This has been a very hectic week. Lots of things on the go, and it's always just an incredible opportunity to be here and be part of this amazing organization.
Well, and you know the thing is that Skills, this is like the marquee event, right? Like for the year. But really, there's lots of marquee events.
Yeah, I think every province puts on these amazing events in there to get folks to this competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this obviously is the pinnacle. This is where they're working to get their time in here, and so yeah, lots of events that have happened provincially, and each of those organizations in each province just work so hard to make this happen.
You know, at a national level, when you look at Skills and what they do, I think I heard 57 trades are here in this build or in this national, something like that. 800 I heard numbers, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's probably a desire for Skills National to grow every time there's a national event. This is huge. Winnipeg was huge last year. Like, I mean, how do you keep growing? Like, is there a limit to the growth of this amazing thing?
Yeah, no, you're right. Every year it grows, and with that growth, there creates new challenges because the facilities becomes
venues,
the real issue for us. How do you have this many trades and this big an event in certain venues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes a bit more challenging for the amazing team over there at Skills Compétences National Office.
Mm-hmm.
They really have their work cut out for them every year, finding that facility that's going to fit and make it work. So
well, and there's not a long list of places that can accommodate either based on weather, location, square footage, power requirements, ventilation requirements. I mean, there's so many moving pieces.
Yeah, there's probably 5 or 6 venues in Canada that can realistically accommodate what's going, and it's as it continues to grow, it's going to continue to put pressure on the organization to come up with new and innovative ways. But I mean, that is the Skills way, right?
Yeah.
Come up with new and innovative ways to make sure that this feature event for the organization continues to be as successful as it has been.
Yeah, and now your role as the chair of the Skills Canada Saskatchewan board, what does that entail? What is your job within the Skills Saskatchewan group?
Well, that's a good question. We, some days I'm not really sure. There's a whole bunch of things that happen, but our job is really to work with our Skills Saskatchewan team and help set the goals for the 5 years and for the next 5 years.
Strategies.
Do strategic planning with them, and it's to provide that help and assistance when needed to make these events happen. And in typical Saskatchewan style, and I'm sure it's in others, but in typical Saskatchewan style, we have just an amazing board that they just like to get in there and get their hands dirty all the time. And so when an event comes, it's not unusual for them to be, out setting up booths and hauling chairs.
Doing
and
what they got to do.
Do what you got to do to make it happen. That's what happens when you have a small organization like that.
Well, even in the big level.
Yep.
I'm watching Luke and Patrick hauling carts and chairs and cones, and you're talking top brass of the national, leadership team out here on the floor with their vests on, running around taking care of the everyday job, which I think is such an example of the skills grit. Because in the skilled trades, no job is too big and no job is too small.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it such a special organization is, I don't think anybody considers themselves above being there on the floor, and we love the skilled trades.
Mm-hmm.
We have a passion for doing what we do, and you cannot come to one of these events and not be just in awe of the amazing competitors.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, and when we look at the all the different volunteers that come to these events, the coaches, the national and provincial technical committee, the parents, the students, like everybody just pours their heart into this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's it's really an amazing opportunity to be a part of this. So yeah, there's never a time where anybody says, oh no, that's not my job to do. It's just, what do you need me to do next?
The jobs.
I think I look back to a few years ago in Saskatchewan when we had our provincial competition.
Yeah, I remember.
And we had several of our board members, including our board chair at the time, Larina, step up and start serving food at the line because they needed help. So
we needed, I remember we were having to run cables because of power issues and
everything.
All hands on deck.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, it's really cool to see that stuff. So.
Now, what about the kids you see? There's always a very special aspect of skills, provincially, locally, and then at the national level. It's about bringing in those young kids, those elementary school kids to come and experience it. And, all the vendors and sponsors that are here, we bring the swag, we bring the stickers, we bring the stuff. And that's not for the adults. That's for the kids, right? How important is it as a part of that skills, mandate to have these young kids come through here?
Oh, I think it's critical. Somebody asked me the other day about, why is it, this age group of students that are coming to see this event? And, that's an interesting question. When you look at, grade 10, 11, 12, they're already starting their own trajectory. Mm-hmm. They already kind of know where they're going. So by working with some of the younger grades and bringing them here, you're exposing them to some opportunities that they might not know exist. And whether it's a provincial competition, whether it's a try-a-trade, whether it's the national competition, getting them early enough that they say, oh, I didn't know that was something I could do, right? And so I just think it's so critical to give them the options when they're in that age and they're starting to think about what's their journey going to look like.
Now, what about the parents? Because that's a challenge, and what do we do to bring them in? How do we open their eyes? Because, I'm sure kids will come through here. We had lots come and stop and watch the podcast and thought this was cool. And, we're kind of getting them all hyped up and worked up. And then they get home and say, Mom, Dad, I saw this welding thing. And Mom and Dad are like, no, that's not a good job. You need to go to university to be a whatever. What do we do to start twisting that narrative?
Yeah, and I think we need to highlight the importance of the trades. I think that we spent years and years, certainly, I'm kind of old.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I'm not that far behind you, buddy.
So, in my generation, it was about going to university, right?
Yeah.
Like that was the push.
Mm-hmm.
Our parents said, you got to go to university if you want to make something of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The trades wasn't really an option. And so I think that there needs to be more awareness built in for parents on what a career in the skilled trades would be like. So yeah, I don't know what the answer is. For me, It was when I was a kid. My dad was jack of all trades, and
Master of none.
But there wasn't anything that he wouldn't try. And he
That's
always
right.
said, what's the worst you can do?
Yeah.
He said, and I live by this to this day. My dad always said to me, he said, there's a whole lot of people out there that are a lot smarter than I am. And so no matter how bad I break that, they're going to be able to fix it. It might cost me more money in the end. But he said, it's worth a try just to get there. And so
And learn it, yeah.
So I think that, parents need to encourage that kind of thinking. I think they need to encourage kids to be out there figuring out how to build something or how to repair something and not being afraid to do that. Kids today have probably such a big advantage over when I was a kid, because now you can pretty much Google anything.
Yeah.
So
The information's all there.
teach them to be fearless. Like, teach them to try. And I think that's really part of what trades does. Is it's a bunch of fearless people that are saying, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can fix anything. Like it doesn't scare us to try that.
No. Now, what's your connection to the trades? Phil, you didn't fall into this chair out of nowhere. You weren't out writing novels in the Bermuda when you decided to join Skills.
I have, I don't know. I say my dad was my inspiration for being in the trades. I'm a master. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. In 1983, when I was in grade 11, I was struggling in school.
Yeah.
That was not me.
No.
I had no interest. And some absolutely brilliant human being decided that in the Pas, Manitoba, I could go to Keewatin Community College in grade 11 and take half a semester and take a trade.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my start. I in grade 11 and 12, which helped me pass my grade 12, I took automotive mechanics, and that just got me interested in a trade. I've done all kinds of different things. I took my 5th class engineer ticket from Southern Alberta Institute of Technology.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to run equipment. I worked underground for almost 18 years in a potash mine.
Yeah.
And I just have been in the trades have been just a part of my life.
Yeah.
Forever. And so getting involved with skills in 2010, that was my first introduction into skills.
Mm-hmm.
And it
clicked.
It was a perfect way to continue to give back to the things that I love most, and that's the trade.
Now, what made you decide to get involved as a board member? Like you said, you joined Skills with 2010. I assume that was as either a mentor, volunteer, or coach, or whatever. What were you doing, initially, and then why get into the board game?
Oh, in 2010, I had just moved to Saskatchewan. I just had changed jobs,
mm-hmm.
and my Donovan Elliott, a name that everybody in Skills will know, because Donovan, he was a big personality, and he approached me and said, "Hey, you got to come and experience this." So, went to Prince Albert, attended my first provincial competition, and I was hooked. Like, it just, wow, like that just blew me away. And so the next year I harassed everybody until I could get myself a position on the board, and I just, because I just wanted to be a part of something that was as special as Skills.
Yeah.
And I have, I've attended just about every national competition since then.
No.
And for the first time ever, I get to go to Worlds.
I was about to ask. I just made the note here.
I'm going to Worlds in Lyon, France,
You
to represent
lucky
the
son
national.
of a gun.
I am truly honored
Yeah.
to represent Canada and Skills Compétences Canada at the World competition in France. I can hardly wait to see that that next level of competition that's there. And
Yeah.
So yeah,
I've gone to experience Worlds as a mentor to a welder. I went with Adam Sebastian to Kazan, and it's like 10 times this, which is even hard to wrap your head around.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Like,
I have
just the cooking was 50 kitchens.
yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
I have no idea what to expect. I am but I am so excited to have that opportunity to go and attend and be a part of that. So yeah, I didn't, prior to 2010, I didn't know those skills, and so even our first trip into Prince Albert to attend skills, we kept asking people where's skills at?
Yeah,
Where's
where is
skills?
it?
Nobody knew, and so after I experienced it, I said, "Boy, we really got to get this name out in this province because it's just an amazing opportunity."
Well, in Saskatchewan, for the size of the province and the population and the training centers, we represent well.
Oh yeah,
At the national level. We really do. We almost always have a horse in the race for graphic design. Our welders are always in that top 3, top 5. Our machinists have done extremely well. Like, we're there. For a little province, we're there.
Oh, and yes, I credit the kids for all the amazing work that they do and stuff, but the coaches, the instructors, the teachers, the technical committees, the parents, everybody just puts so much work into that. I love listening to our PTCs, NTCs, and it's because they're so passionate about what they do, and they put, a lot of that time that they invest is on their own time. It's
Absolutely,
personal,
yeah.
it's volunteer time, and so the commitment to skills and to the kids it's just inspiring. It's really amazing.
Now, when we talk about inspiring and commitment to kids, there's something that I know that is close to your heart in terms of outreach and target, and that's the Indigenous peoples of Canada and how to work with the Indigenous peoples and support them and really give them the opportunity to be on just the same level field as everybody else, right? Why do you have that connection? Where did it come from? And I guess, what are you trying to do? What's going on?
Oh boy, you get me started on that because it's a deep part of my heart.
Yeah.
I started running programs about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I approach it in a very different way. I work right in the community. Always got to work around the noise.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
But I go into the community. I listen to the people that are there, and I talk to them, and I hear what they're saying, and they say, "What can I do for you?" And I'm running a program right now that people said, "You got to be out of your mind. Like, there is no way that you're going to do that." But I have this amazing group of people with Touchwood Tribal Agencies Training and Employment Group. Harvey Bitternoes and his team there. They approached me and said, "Hey, we want to build a tiny home." And so I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And so that program expanded from that to renovating homes and doing all that. And people said, "Well, there's no way you can do that all with kids that haven't had a chance and been in the trades." And I said, "Well, I approach it from a different way.
Yeah.
I believe in them.
Yeah.
If you've never had anybody believe in you, never had anybody that said you can do anything you want."
Yeah.
I was fortunate. My dad said I could do whatever I wanted to.
Yeah.
Put mind to it. But if you've never had that, if you've never had that positive reinforcement,
You don't even know.
you don't know what it is.
Yeah. You don't even know what you don't know.
No.
Yeah.
So there's one of the young men in the program. Him and I were talking, and I said, man, Brendan, I really believe in you.
Yeah.
I said, you are an amazing young man.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know if anybody's ever told you this before, but you have so much potential. I see a leader in you. I watch the other students around you, and I see how they look at you as a leader.
Yeah.
And a week later, his mom big talked to me and said, he really needed that.
Yeah.
Nobody's
yeah.
ever told him that before.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, what a terrible, like she has,
Yeah.
but who listens to mom, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But she said nobody's ever said that to him before. Nobody's ever told him that he mattered
Yeah.
and his potential. And she said he was like walking on air. And
Yeah.
so again, I think that comes out of
that positive reinforcement,
Yeah.
that uplifting. And I love working with Indigenous communities. My family is Indigenous from South America, and we have actually this Chilean Indigenous community is very tied to the Saskatchewan. They've done programming together, but it's that idea of we can't fix everything at once. You just can't fix everything at once. So let's start with some of the easy things like financial freedom. The trades give you the ability to be financially secure at a very minimal investment. Often you can earn while you learn. You may not even have to pay any money at all. Okay, that's a good deal for anybody. No one's going to spit at that. So that's one piece. The next piece is the self-respect and the confidence. When you have been in a situation where there's not a lot of success, roles and mentorship around you, you don't know what you can reach to, and you don't give yourself a very high bar. And I don't like the thought that you need to give someone a lower bar so they can reach it. The bar is high. Help them get there. Don't try to lower the bar because it doesn't mean the same then.
No, well, that's exactly it. So could I have built some garden sheds? Could I have, built some dog
Dumbed it
houses?
down somehow, yeah.
But again, I believe that if you set the bar high, people will reach for that.
Mm-hmm.
If you set it low, they will only get over that bar.
Yeah.
And so by setting it high, they have reached for it. I mean, we have Natasha.
You got to have the supports there to help.
Yeah, we have Natasha, who's never. She said when she started that program, she couldn't even hold her arms above her head because it was some of them tools were heavy. She textured the entire ceiling of one of the tiny homes that they were built.
Oh, wild! Yeah.
And so, and that was the first time she'd ever done it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just about, we try and drum into from we have amazing instructors.
Yeah.
And we just encourage. Don't let them do that.
Build the confidence.
Yeah, build their confidence and Coakatoos First Nation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're incredible. Like this was the first program that I ran that I didn't have an employer at the start because they said we hope that all these young people will stay
and
help continue to do the work that they've been taught, and so some of them will. Yeah, they will all have job opportunities if they want them, but the hope is that they will stay and rebuild their communities and continue the work that they've done just amazing jobs at.
And we've seen that even here with Skills National.
Yeah,
right. Like we have the I forget what it was called, but the Indigenous area where they show traditional skills. We did the same thing at CanWeld in our conference in Moncton, where we brought Indigenous people to show the traditional skill sets, because skills are skills. People got to survive. People got to eat. People got to build. And it's not like it got invented by one people. It was everyone had their version of it around the world. And I love seeing that connection.
I absolutely loved standing over there. He was sewing some things that they were putting together there, but she showed us a video, and kids in grade 2 that are being taught their traditional trade, right? This is how you do it.
This is
from
how you
start
build
to finish.
Yeah.
And they're making these beautiful, beautiful things. And so I think that's part of what needs to get done. Is you just need to encourage them at a very young age. Here, you need to be not afraid to do these things. Let's teach them not only those traditional things, but let's teach them some of these other other things that will help get them to the next level.
Yeah. Well, we're coming to the end of the interview. They're wrapping up here. This is last day. Tomorrow is the ceremonies with the announcements of all the winners. There's going to be judging going on late into the evening tonight, all over this building. We got to pack up this whole building tonight somehow and into the morning. This is going to be nuts. For you, with being on the board and being a part of Skills, and with Worlds coming up, what's your future look like with this? Are you going to stick this out until you just can't anymore? Is this your stick?
I will be here until they tell me to go away otherwise, because I don't usually have the sense to leave when I'm not wanted. So no, I love this organization and everything it stands for. People, I can't imagine a time where I wouldn't be here. And I watch, I see all the amazing people around me that have been part of Skills for 20 years, 25, 30.
Yeah.
Like they've just been here forever. And I don't plan on going anywhere.
Good. Well, thank you so much, Phil, for the work you do. I know you're a great person for me to talk to and reach out to. You're there for the province. I love Skills and I support it as much. I know I'm really pushing CWB more and more into Skills all the time. So, I'm looking for a long-term partnership with you guys and yourself.
Well, thanks for inviting me, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Love working with you, and looking forward to continuing it on.
Awesome. Well, for all the people that have been following along with the podcast, this is the final episode of the live shows here in the week. As you can tell, it is madness in here. There's carts and grinders and welders, but we're wrapping it up. There's still going to be a few online ones, and make sure you catch all of these. We're going to have over 15 episodes released as a part of the Skills Canada special with CWB, and we're covering all the trades, and there's so much wonderful information. And if you haven't been a part of any Skills, reach out. There's in every province, in every territory, there's ways to be involved, there's ways to sponsor, to mentor, and we really want you to be a part of our teams. So stay tuned for the next episode, and can't wait to see you.
We hope you enjoyed the show.